So your point is you should only celebrate your mother,
Yes. Yes. But wait,
not
laugh at me
all
while she's
mothers.
on. Laugh at me while she's on because we
Okay.
had a whole thing. We had a whole thing.
He was like, nah, it may be Mother's Day, but it's my Mother's Day.
That's right.
Oh,
Hello?
hi.
Yo, you on the air. Hold on, we didn't even do our opening. We didn't even do our opening.
Shoot, I didn't know we was on the air.
Well, I started recording just in case anything special happened. But just remember, listen, this is a special moment. This is a special moment because this is officially episode 50.
Yo,
This is officially episode 50. That's right, of the Loose Cannons podcast. So we have to do something special. Even though we're on Zoom, we're going to have some guests coming on the phone. I got one guest on the line right now.
Oh,
and that's my wife. But we still got to introduce the show like we normally do. I'm No Justin No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons podcast because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
What else?
Movies and TV and how they all intersect. And oh, baby, do we have a good episode for you guys. And listen.
Yes, we do.
Today we're filming on a very special day. Very special day. Very special day. Very, very special day. And I got chewed out this morning, Lewis. I got chewed out because there's a debate. And maybe I'm the only person who's a part of this debate.
Okay.
But Mother's Day. And babe, I want you to hold up. Lewis, yeah. Mother's Day, I have been celebrating for a very long time. To one person. The person that pushed me out. That's my mother.
Oh,
but I have been told that I am a horrible husband for not celebrating the person who gave me my beautiful children.
Mhm.
Is it true? Lewis froze, so baby, you go.
I don't. First of all, I would like to say that you didn't technically, you weren't told that you were horrible. I just want to put that out there. It might have been implied, but I didn't say those words. I just want to put that out.
The implication, I got the implication. The implication was loud and clear.
Okay, fine. What's Lewis's thoughts first, since Lewis is back?
Lewis, go. Defend me.
Okay, so you not celebrating Mother's Day. You celebrating your Mother's Day.
Yes, my mother.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I celebrate all mothers, so I'm not on the side right now for me.
All mothers. Okay, but you mean like in a general, like, Facebook post?
Yeah, my mom, my grandmother, my cousins, aunties.
But they not your mother, Lewis. They not your mother.
They somebody's mother.
They somebody's mother, and somebody should celebrate them.
Okay, so hold on a second. So when you woke up this morning, did you look at your kids and be like, so what y'all do for mommy today?
Yes. What did y'all do? What did y'all figure out? What did y'all figure out? I'm not saying that if they say, Daddy, can I have a couple of bucks to celebrate Mother's Day? I'm gonna say, what's a couple of bucks first? And then I'm gonna say, no problem, but don't overdo it. But no problem. Make your mother feel special. But you know.
So when they wanted to do something, did you go, nah, it's a quarantine, we can't go nowhere?
No. First of all, today was a very special Mother's Day because my oldest daughter celebrated by taking the kids. She took the two youngest, right? And she made breakfast for my wife. And also ended up making breakfast for me. So, I got something out of the deal, but it was very, very nice. It was very sweet, very special. And then our second daughter, who was 5 years old, used her own money to buy my wife some flowers. I'm looking at this like, that's enough.
A win-win, huh?
The day is fulfilled.
You was like, I celebrated my mama.
What more do you want from me?
What do I gotta do?
I know what Tyrese was talking about. What more?
Let's not talk about Tyrese because what he just did for his wife was phenomenal. If you did not see it on Instagram, phenomenal. I sent it to you. Did you not watch it?
Okay, listen. If I do 5 Fast and the Furious movies, I promise you, you will get what Tyrese gives his wife.
Whatever.
I promise you. I promise you.
And
and plus, this is Tyrese's second go around. It's just you and me.
That doesn't even matter. That means you should work hard to make sure you keep me, right? So you don't have to be on your second one. And in regards to the fact that I gave you 4 children, and Lewis, this is what I told him, okay?
Take off my glasses.
That moment that he watched his child come forth, okay? And the moment where he was like, "Oh my gosh, babe, you were amazing. You did that. Wow. I can't believe you did that." I'm like, that excitement should be the same when I deliver the second, the third, and the fourth. And the fact that he does not think that he should celebrate as me as a mother is something special. Now, I've already given up. We're married like 13 years. I've given up on the man. He's no longer ever going to celebrate Mother's Day. It is what it is. It was amazing that my children, though, said, "You know what? We want our mom to feel celebrated." And she started working on this on Saturday because she forgot. She didn't know, because no one knows the dates anymore. It was Mother's Day. And she said, "Oh my goodness, it's Mother's Day." And she came up with this whole idea of creating a coupon. And the coupon was that I didn't have to do anything for the children in the morning. As simple as that, the children came up with on their own. And this man tells me, "You're not my mother." Okay? And so, therefore, I have a big problem with that. And I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, wow, look at all these people shouting out their wives, shouting out their mothers and their wives. And this man sitting next to me like, "Well, how many times have I told you I loved you and that you were a great mother? How many times? Don't have to be Mother's Day." I'm like, really? You
okay, I need
Mother's Day.
Your Honor, Honorable Lewis. Okay, I need a rebuttal. Okay, I have been there when the moments mattered. Okay, when those kids were being pushed out, I was scooping the ice chips into her mouth so she stayed hydrated. You know what I mean? I was there rubbing her back and being berated. They teach you to rub their back, but they don't tell you that they may not want you to rub their back when you're supposed to rub their back, so they're going to call you names like, no, stop. Like, there's no patience. There's no patience when they're giving birth. But, I dealt with that. I dealt with all of that. All 4 children, I was there, watched them come out, supported her, rubbed her head, pushed her head back, wiped her brow from the sweat of everything that she did for us. Everything that she did for us. We, the family. I was there. But then they have these fools that come up one time a year, do all kinds of dirt on their main chick, do all kinds of dirt on their mothers, and they show up and give them flowers, take a picture, and I got to deal with that. I got to battle with that. I'm here on the front lines when it matters every day. Every day. Telling her she beautiful, you lovely, you the best thing, you smart. You gorgeous. Wow. You know what I mean? I'm DJ Khaled every single day.
You the best.
you the best, baby. You the best. Every single day. Now I have to battle these Instagram liars. And the TikToks where they be lying about their life. I'm here on the front lines. So because that I have been raised all my life, they said, celebrate your mother. I've been celebrating my mother. Now I got to go and adjust to this. I celebrate you on your birthday. Our anniversary. On the kids' birthdays, we celebrate their birthday. Not everybody's birthday on that day. Nobody comes in on your birthday and is like, "Hey, it's your birthday celebration, but I just want to say it's my birthday too, so you should be celebrating me also." No. Mother's Day is for your mother. And listen. I am a reasonable person. If you were a mother and your kids are dead and they can no longer celebrate you, sure, I'll put up a Facebook post for you. Because you don't have somebody that can do that. But you have able children.
Here's where I call the BS.
Yeah, but your kids aren't on social media.
Thank you. That as well.
Neither Steve Jobs' kids, Lewis. What's the point? Okay? I'm protecting them from the bullies.
Here's the other problem that he wants to say. Well, I've been celebrating my mother for how many other years? And then, you expect me to open up and do something different. I'm like, what? when you decided that you wanted to marry me, not me, not the reverse, you wanted to marry me. Therefore, you said there was space enough to let your mother and me be in your world, and he cannot celebrate Mother's Day. It's a bunch of nonsense. Okay? That's what it is. It is what it is.
All right. We've made our case. Lewis, you judge.
Lewis, no, you
who's right?
I got a mama, so I have to celebrate her, but I got to celebrate all the mothers. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, right.
There's no winning this, Justin. There's no winning this. I'm telling you. Right?
You know what? Go in the comments right now. The Cannons fans, I want you to go in the comments right now and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if my wife is right. Go in the comments right now and settle this argument for us. Baby, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yo.
All right, now that she's gone,
yo, there's a lot going on.
Yo, crazy.
Where you near me, or you further east? Where you at?
Oh no, I'm up at home.
Oh, okay, all right. Because listen, it's going down in the city.
It sure is.
It's going down in the city, bro. What's going on?
Yo, I'm telling you right now. I'm camped out. I'm staked out.
Yeah.
I'm good for a couple weeks, couple months.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about anything.
Yeah.
But it's wild out here. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Listen, the last time that we were on and we were talking about the coronavirus, it was all speculation of what would happen. We had a small amount of cases. It was very, very little. Tiny amount. There wasn't much information to go on, but it was going down in Italy. It wasn't as crazy, but it was going down in Italy. We are right now. Listen, we went from this beautiful wonderland to the worst nightmare ever. Like
apocalypse
this
now.
Apocalypse now.
Yes.
Purge. I'm this the prequel.
Movies.
Is this the prequel?
Yes, I'm watching all these movies, man.
To prepare.
Yes.
Walking Dead is on repeat.
I'm looking for the Outbreak Monkey with them.
That's right. My wife and I watched Contagion. We was feeling some type of way.
Oh, yes.
It just passed too. It passed too crazy. But like, it's gotten so serious. We're at what? Like 3 million cases. 3 million plus cases in the world.
Yeah.
1 million plus is here in the United States.
Yep.
So that's almost a third. A couple 100,000 people have died from coronavirus, COVID-19, and we have about 75,000 here in the United States. Yep. We have a large portion of the deaths here in the United States, and it just turned on the nail. I mean, granted, we can say because of testing, we didn't know how many people who had COVID-19, so those numbers were probably there at that moment, but the deaths weren't. The deaths we know have gone up, and it's a sad situation. It's a real sad situation, but you feel very helpless, and we're in a really different world. Like going to the store with a mask, dog.
Waiting outside on the line.
Waiting outside on the line.
Yep.
There was a cop. He was like, hold up. Okay. He's counting the people coming out. He's like, you come in. I'm like, this is different, dog.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
This is different. Like I started reading what's my book with The Hunger Games. I'm like, what district am I in? I'm trying to figure. I'm telling you, everybody's looking around like, what district are we in?
Yeah,
there's some districts you don't want to be in. Like, all I know is we not in the capital.
Nah,
we not in the capital, but a lot of deaths. But there's videos online, dog. Videos online, because we live in a world now where masks are now required. The governors have put in. There's restrictions. There's what do you call it? Curfews, and now there's physical requirements of wearing a mask. But just like NYPD do. NYPD be NYPDing and doing extra, dog.
Always.
Extra. Why are we in this mess? Why are we in this mess with the NYPD? Because it's not about the mask. It's not about the mask.
I don't know, man. I mean, at this point, I think that they're not even thinking about it objectively anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just we will do whatever we can, but you still see, you know, I guess there's strong pushes of what comes naturally to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what we're gonna be able to do, but to watch that now, governments are starting to open up, the people are protesting, but you know, to still have NYPD do these things, like it's a bit much.
It's a bit much, dog. Like it's they don't know how to handle themselves civilly.
Right.
And every time that you look at some of these videos, you are faced with the option of, is this a individual thing? Are these individual problems? Or is this something systemic that's perpetuating these types of individuals? Like, why do police departments seem to pull in these type of individuals? Is it the nature of the job in particular? Because we move outside the NYPD. It's happening in LA. It's happening in Jersey, which is right across, right across the water. It's happening in Philly. It's happening everywhere. Where it definitely is happening is in the inner city. It's in the inner city, and it seems to be happening to the people, like everything happens to the people who are least able to fight for themselves and represent themselves, or create a consequence for people who do things to them. Because you're watching these other videos, and some police departments are still able to apprehend individuals with guns on them at protests, and a lot of times they're people of the majority color, which is white. And it seems like there is a respect. I don't know. It seems like there's a respect and a level of patience given to some groups of people that isn't to others. Like, what's happening on the trains, it's just wild. It's just wild. And there's no excuse for it. It's really, really sad. And, like this whole time, everybody's been talking about Governor Cuomo,
right,
and his ability and what he's been doing as far as the governor and his leadership, in contrast to what people feel the lack of leadership in our country. But he's very silent on this. Like, generally he's doing these press conferences, but he has said nothing yet. Granted, there's multiple police departments in New York City, but that's the largest one, NYPD. That's under a mayor, but that's still the largest one, NYPD. Why hasn't he said anything, you think?
Well, honestly, I think that his thing right now is especially him going against Trump. Like right now, that's the bigger battle.
Yeah.
And him going against Trump, he's going to leave de Blasio to have to deal with anything that happens in the city. Because even though, like, when we talk about Cuomo, most of the time we're talking about New York City, he's got a whole state that he's thinking about during these times. And like, if we talk about the cases that came initially, were all outside of New York City, but above the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
So that's still more Cuomo and whoever's the mayor of those areas rather than de Blasio. So I can understand, but it's still something that has to be a focal point in the front where someone else can actually talk about, what's happening in the city.
Yeah. Got you. There's multiple sides, especially when you speak about Cuomo and Trump. And there's people who are super supporting of Cuomo, and then there's people who are super supporting of Trump. Like, and they exist in all of our families. And I want to get this person on the line. It's my cousin Greg Brown, and I believe that he's going to have some interesting things to a feeling on the situation, especially because he's in New York right now. Let me get him on the line. You on the line, Greg?
How are you?
Good. Yo, you on the Loose Cannons podcast right now. This is episode 50. You on me with my partner, Lou Rivers. Before you were on, we were talking about Governor Cuomo. We were talking about the job that he's doing in New York City. You're there now. How do you feel?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking a little too much credit. If you're in the credit making business, if I was in if I was in a general business, the general business would be, hey, it sounds good. It seems well. And we all got overwhelmed. So we don't want to look at things as if we're perfect. But if the holes in the wall, like the things under the table, the stuff that was never cleaned up was the nursing homes, and it was the issue. A political mind, a regular mind might say, "Good job," but a political mind will say, "My God," because that's what it came down to: the seniors that lost their lives, the inefficiencies, the nursing homes, all being paid by the state, Medicare, Medicaid, those kinds of things. Those are state-run financial blankets, and they've been abused. And unfortunately, some of our senior citizens have paid the price for it.
That's true. But wouldn't you say, especially when we live in a landscape where it seems like there's a party who's increasingly trying to decrease the funding of Medicaid and Medicare, do they have some fault in that?
Well, I'm going to be honest from my experience. My experience doesn't say that if you're poor, if you don't have money, that the United States has not got your back. It just depends on when you're poor and when you don't have money, what do you intend to do?
Okay.
So if you intend to do things like go to college, things like because you're elderly, welfare exists no matter which party is in power. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay, true. But welfare exists, but I guess what I'm trying to get at, it seems like there is a push to decrease that. Every no matter what election cycle, there is a push to decrease the amount of help that people receive. And with that battle of decreasing the amount of help that people receive, states are being crunched and being pushed, and they're able to do less than they may have been able to do years before because of federal funding.
Well, that's like a myth.
Okay.
The reality is overtime for running rampant. Supervisors making 180 instead of 120 that they was promised. Irresponsibility, state-run budgets have a lot to do with this. It's cut your budget so you can keep running irresponsibly, or cut your budget so you can have a girlfriend on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's that bad. I haven't in my lifetime, my experience. I can only talk from my experience. My experience has not seen that if you were poor and you didn't have, that the richest country on the planet Earth wasn't able to give you a jump start. And that's always going to be the case. Mismanagement of funds is the issue. You said the party. They've always been that party. It's not as if it's new. It's not as if it's a Jack in the Box, like all of a sudden now, these guys. No, it's fiscal responsibility, and some people just decide to do it a little bit better than others. And some people buy votes and some people don't. That's basically what I'm saying.
All right. So for both of you, how do you feel like we can start holding all these decision makers accountable? How do we go forward with trying to fix the system instead of destroy it? And unless it definitely needs to be destroyed and rebuilt, but how does that happen? And who do we, I guess, turn to? How do we actually vote someone in who's not bought to focus on the other things first?
Well, I think you have a clear example of that in the President of the United States. I mean, the clear example is he's not from the realms of what we know. I think that's why there's this much hostility. I think that's why there's this much animosity, because there's a new sheriff in town, and the way he operates is fiscal responsibility. Now, you might say that he's had bankruptcy issues. He's had this, he's had that. But we all have issues. Credit repair is bigger than good credit, you know? And that's for the average consumer. Well before 2016. I think the first step, solution-based sharing, instead of complaining-based, would be, let's take a good look in the mirror.
Okay, sorry, I gotta push back 1 second. So when we speak about fiscal responsibility, and we have when we have government revenue, the only way the government could generate revenue and to then support the people is to tax. And when you decrease taxes in the way that this administration has decreased to the tune of $1.5 trillion. And then we're in the situation that we're in now, in which we need to stimulate our economy. How is that fiscally responsible?
States' rights.
Greg?
Okay.
Yeah.
How is that fiscally responsible?
States' rights.
States' rights.
States' rights. Unfortunately, the good old state of Georgia and a good old state of what, they got their rights. And they spend as they see fit. They don't. The federal government has an umbrella over us all. They don't have a surgical tool. So you might want to ask that question to the nation's government.
Well, I'm specifically asking about the fact that the federal government decided to cut taxes on corporations to the richest people to the tune of $1.5 trillion. I'm not even talking about what's happening in the individual states, because that just compounds. What happens in individual states compounds with the fact that it's the same tune to cutting taxes for the rich, and the taxes staying the same for working class people. How is that beneficial for the general population, and how is that fiscally responsible?
How is it unbeneficial? How is it unresponsible? That's the issue. Can you prove on paper that because the people that make the most pay the most, whether you think it's the least or not, it's still the most because they made the most?
Yes.
It's not what you're paying. So is your taxes unfavorable to you? That's the question. Like, am I dissatisfied? Or it's like me being worried about, is the guy that's taller, bigger, stronger, how he got his hair cut. As long as, and I'm a little weaker and wimpier, I got a haircut too. I'm not mad at the reaction of the woman that sees the haircut. That's basically what it is. It's like jealousy. You cannot. That's just the way I see it. I'm not correct. Well, I'm not correct with everything I say. Yes. I mean, I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, there is no blatant policy affecting any company, individual. It's doing nothing but blatantly affecting companies that produce and trying to keep them in a production mode.
But they will stay in the production mode whether taxes increase or decrease. They
you make decisions. You are the decision maker.
No,
how do you know?
No, what I'm saying is the taxes do not stop them from generating revenue. Taxes do not stop them from generating revenue. I guess what I'm trying to get at is the point of, if we have a progressive tax system, we then all pay the same rate as long as we're earning the same amount. If you and I both earn $25,000, if you make $100,000 and all I earn is $25,000, we both pay the same rate of tax on that first $25,000. So that's why it's fair. It's not about the effective tax rate. We have a progressive tax rate, which increases based off the brackets, but we pay the same amount on every single dollar. I haven't just because I don't make 100 million. If I made 100 million, then I would pay the same amount of taxes as another person who pays 100 million. That's the progressive tax rate. But for the first 25,000, that's what we both pay on that first 25,000. And then I believe that the next bracket may be like 55 or 60,000. So from 25 to 65, we both pay the same amount for that money that we both earn on the 25 to 65. But then there are people who there are most people who do not meet making money outside of that 150,000, and then the smallest amount of people make money outside of that million. So then when we make policies based off of those people who make the money out of earning $1 million a year, we are specifying the benefit to those people.
Specifications. Let's look at this word specification. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. I really didn't understand anything you said. The only thing I understand you said is that government is responsible for my benefit or my failure. And if I can point the blame, I'm willing to do it.
No.
That's fine. No, but that's fine. I didn't say you said that. I said that's what I interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure you will become clear. But I will also say the $25,000 ratio that you use, it's clear some of us make more than $25,000.
Yeah.
It's clear some of us don't even see anything. There is a safety net in place for those that don't make anything. But states' rights, because there's several taxes amongst the states, city, state, and federal.
Sure.
So which means the federal is the last part. It's
sure.
not the most inclusive. It's not as if it's the most dominant form to where they can be blamed and take the total responsibility. So if you're going to talk political party, you want to move to that, well, you seem like a Republican. No. I'm an independent. I'm a guy who says at the end of the day, what's fair is fair. And if I make $100 million and I got to pay, I don't have a choice. I don't even have the capacity to make a choice. I don't.
So
the only thing I have a capacity to do is to vote a certain way.
Do you agree with taxation?
I can't disagree with it if it's essential services.
So you don't disagree with taxation? So then,
meaning of the word taxation. What's the word taxation?
I guess because there's levels of people. There are people who disagree with taxation, and that's part of one of the arguments. They want to decrease taxes to the lowest point because they just disagree with taxation. Period. But then there's people who agree with taxation.
I agree with essential. I agree with the garbage being picked up.
Okay.
I agree with the fire department.
Okay.
You know.
You agree with police departments. You agree with schools. You agree with
I agree with schools, but I don't agree with private schools with public money. No, I don't.
I don't. There's a lot of people who don't, and I think I would agree with that. But then my question is, do you agree with something like an unemployment program?
Of course, I agree with a no-fault program, which is things happen.
Yeah. Okay.
In the richest country, the richest country on the planet Earth. So the richest country on the planet Earth, we've got to have a default system.
Okay.
That why else would you become the richest country on the earth?
True.
You can't have the richest country on the earth attitude without approving the earth. You just can't.
Do you believe with Social Security?
Undoubtedly, but I do believe that the system is rigged. I don't trust it.
Okay.
But I believe in it. Yeah. I don't believe in it.
What about universal health care? You thinking?
I do believe in that.
Okay, so you know what's funny is I'm glad to hear all those things. So you're a Bernie guy, right? You're a Bernie guy then. You just got to be a Bernie guy.
I'm not an anti-Bernie guy.
Okay,
but I'm a Trump guy.
You're a Trump guy,
but I'm not anti-Bernie.
But let me ask you.
That's the problem.
But
the problem is the anti-Bernie is what I'm against.
I think everybody. I think a lot of people will agree with that.
No. A clear and deliberate effort to get rid of Bernie Sanders was done by the Democratic Party, not the Republicans.
Agreed.
Okay, I didn't say that didn't happen. That is true.
Clear and deliberate, bro.
Yes, clear and deliberate. But to the benefit of the Republican Party.
Went out of their way because guess why? It didn't put more money in their pockets. Remember I said states' rights. States' rights. And it's not states' rights. It comes down to party rights. They can't pimp no more.
Pimping who? Who they pimping?
The poor. When you need, they can dictate what you get.
But both parties pimp the poor. The Republican Party is full of poor people.
No. But the better version is the Democratic Party. The Republican Party governs, and they leave it there, which is a certain time frame, chance, opportunity. It's not just the lengthy procedure. If it's a lengthy procedure, which is stay on there forever, that's the Democrats. I'm sorry. It is.
Is that really the Democrats, or is that what the Republican Party likes to tout as the Democrats? Because when I
talk about tout, let's talk about CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Well, let me ask you.
That's the touting. The touting is a Democratic machine that you can't beat.
Listen.
Because they will overwhelm you with their opinion.
Okay. Fine, and I'm down with that. And no one says that CNN is perfect, MSNBC is perfect, any of those platforms are perfect. But then if you want to get a clear understanding of propaganda, you just watch Fox News. That was built just to be propaganda. One could say that CNN, MSNBC, and all of those companies have turned and have propaganda arms and can lean a certain way, but if you want to see propaganda, that's Fox News, and that's their sole mission. There is no news on Fox News. It's all propaganda all day, all long, and that's for the benefit of conservatives and Republicans. So it's easy to just point out one group. Now, if we want to group media all together, major media, capitalist media, the media conglomerates, propaganda comes from Disney. Propaganda comes from all these large companies, but you can't leave Fox News out of that equation.
Well, I can leave them out for one reason, because they're on an island on their own. Okay. It's not as if there are several Fox Newses versus the other newses. Now, I'm going to just be honest with you. MSNBC and CNN are both equal to Fox News. So if it was one-on-one, okay. You got a point, sir. But no. NBC, CBS, ABC, those are all the same level of Fox News. And they're by themselves. So they have their own agenda.
But are they following an agenda, or is it that the majority of people in the United States, the majority of watchers, actually just lean liberal? They just believe what these other people believe. And even when you look at MSNBC and CNN, they still they may lean liberal, but they still lean elitist liberal. There's still a different part of the Democratic Party that they represent. But I believe
they represent money, that they represent homosexualism, they represent faggots, they represent pretending that they care about black people's issues, only to use it to their benefit, not ours. Because if their system of endorsement of liberalism, as you know it, if it hasn't worked, unless you can show me how they've deterred police brutality, how they've increased employment in the black community because of their ideas and because of their journalism. It hasn't done anything but increase their particular wages in particular. it hasn't done anything. It's like they agree with the alleged other side. What they will use, if you're going to use the word propaganda, it's more them than Fox News. Fox News has their own show. They have their own touting. They have their own method. And I wish them well.
Right, I'm going to interject for a second. I'm sorry.
Go.
Just to get off of media sources, because I feel like I think that it's the choice of anybody who can say that they're going to watch certain news sources, but people are, I guess, their own enemy. Because if you're going to only choose the most popular, that is the exact reason why they're there. If you're not going out and trying to find out your own news or find people who are strictly there for the journalism aspect and objective and not taking sides, then that's true journalism. Like that's what you should be doing.
News.
Yeah, so there's no point in following someone who's got a mission, who's got an agenda. Like if all of these media sources have an agenda, that's not journalism.
Thank you. There you go. Bravo. Let's stand on. Let's get a table and let me stand up on it. Well, that's what it is. And when the American public recognizes that piece, then so be it. Now the case is: are you fair and balanced? Are you nonpartisan, or are you looking for an avenue to attack? And if the only thing I'm doing is looking at how to kill you, that's not news. That's a machine designed to kill.
All right, so how do we break the system?
Well, it depends on the meaning of the word "we." I can't speak for right. Well, I'll let you, because the "we" is black people, but that's what I consider "we," because I'm not the spokesman for black people. I haven't been elected to do so. The people that have been elected are in jail. Jesse Jackson Jr., Ray Nagin, the mayor of New Orleans, doing Katrina, and we had a black president, and we ran it like a white man. We didn't put our foot down ever politically in history. I've never seen it. Maybe you can fill in the blank if that's the case.
I think that we're in this system where there's so many parts that if you wanted to run one way, then there's so many different parts that have to be changed. And by the time you change all the parts, your time is up. And then it's the other guy's turn to change all the parts back to try to make it again work for him. We're not in a government system where we have a totalitarian where one guy can pretty much do what he wants. Because even with Trump getting into office, the Democrats have made it difficult for him to do a lot of the things that were clearly, all right, this is what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Republicans under Obama.
But that's what I'm saying. It happens both ways every single time. Yeah. So it's not like...
But when it happens, sometimes it happens for the right reasons. Some things are wrong to do. Some things are wrong to do, and they should be stopped. And those are the balance of powers working in the right way. But then there are other times that things get stopped that are just obstruction. And I'm not saying that it happens in any particular party, because it obviously happens on both sides of the aisle. And I hate saying that because it's so unbalanced on both sides of the aisle. I hate being that guy, but it does happen on both sides of the aisle. But I guess my big problem is when people say, those guys are bad, these guys are better. And the truth is the other guys aren't better at all. Greg, why are the Republicans better for black people?
I'm not going to say they're better. I'm not this Republican advocate.
Okay.
You're very, your viewers, you really need to you really haven't misread me. What it is, what I did say is that I'm a businessman. And since I'm a businessman, forget the word business. Either use the word man or use the word business by itself.
Okay.
That's the American way.
Okay.
So since that's the American way, why not? Because there's nothing I gotta put my foot down on or laminate myself to from the Democratic Party.
Okay.
There's nothing. They haven't been able to deter police shootings. They haven't. They represent the union, but the cops keep killing. The pro-union, pro-cop killer, cops professionally kill us.
Absolutely.
I mean, you name it. Why are we still marching?
But the question that I have though is that
why are we still marching?
But when you look,
if we wasn't marching anymore,
uh-huh.
if there was no reason to march anymore, then guess what? I'm a proud Democrat.
Okay,
until that happens, I'm finished with.
I got you. But what I'm saying is the shooters and the killers belong to the Republican Party.
How do you know? It belongs to the Democratic Union. That's the part that you haven't even dared look at. The union that represents them is Democratic. The individual is why Trump won. He won because people make their own decision in the voting booth.
Mm-hmm.
But their job makes a decision from the endorsement. That's just what it is, bro. That corrupt. I'm sorry to break the bad news to you. You trusting the wrong damn thing.
I don't think I'm trusting.
Trusting.
I don't think I'm trusting the wrong thing. I think that I'm looking at the direction that the person is moving. I'm looking at the direction that the people who are supporting, when you see the support for the police unions and you see the support for the individuals who are gunning down people that look like you and me, they also are putting on the red hat. They are also hanging that Confederate flag. And some of them are also Republicans. A lot of them are Republicans for particular reasons. For 2A reasons could be one of the big reasons. For individualistic opportunity, they run to the Republican Party. So it's hard for a person like me, and I believe that it's hard for a lot of people out there to be able to trust the other party, even if I agree with you that, damn it, the Democratic Party has failed us. It's definitely hard for me to trust the other party when I see who belongs there. When you see their membership is not very diverse.
I'm a businessman. It is diverse. You just can't see it. The catch is, let me give you a better example. The better example is, I'm going to make sure I don't mumble my words and mess up here, because we live on TV, or whatever this is. I will say it like this. If you're fine with no results, or par, or breaking even, so be it. If you'd like to, there's a reality in everything we deal with. The reality is, we as black people might not ever, but we can do something. White people did not elect Barack Obama twice and not give us the lead and the initiative to say, you know what? Some of us do get along. And we understand what we did. And we're going to give you that little, we're going to give you the nod. We didn't take the lead.
But that was white Democrats that did that.
White Democrats that elected him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, like, the people who are saying, you know, listen, we messed up. We want to give you guys the lead, like you were saying. We want to give you guys the opportunity. We want this symbol with you. This will be beautiful to unite us. That happened on one side. It happened within a group of people. And the thing about even saying the Democrat or the Republican Party is both parties are not monolithic. just like with you speaking as a person who's an independent, who has voted Republican, that means that party, the people that exist, are not monolithic. But there are some horrible people who exist in both parties. And the issue with is that some of us are trying to keep both of them at bay. But I'm not going to run into a already building that's already on fire that's going to burn me up. And there are people who exist in the Republican Party who are interested in burning up people that look like you and me because we look the color that we are.
But the catch is, they are the same people in the other party that have the same agenda based on who we are, not what they want. So I can't base it based on that, because if that's the case, there is no white man that I've ever met that will not interview you first and find out what kind of black man are you. That's Republican, Democrat, or not. It's the difference between being tolerated and being accepted, or being accepted and being tolerated. Or
so do you think that we're not accepted in this world?
We are tolerated.
But we're not accepted.
If we are interviewed and if we are not anti-American. And that has nothing to do with political parties. That has something to do with your skin color. You will not be accepted fully if you, after your interview, you are deemed as a threat, a person willing to stand up. Barack Obama would have not been elected. What is this guy? Harry Reid said it best. He only speaks Negro if he has to. Calming the white people down in the Democratic Party to let them know you don't got to worry about this Negro. He only talks black if he has to. How possibly could that be said and be forgiven? He should resign the race right there.
Or is that the strategy that we need?
That's the common sense of the place we live in, bro.
But is that the strategy that we need?
I can't separate the two.
So you're saying that the two are so similar, it doesn't matter?
Not when it comes to this topic.
So do we need our own party?
Can I ask a series of questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, you can.
Okay. How much of the vote do you think that we need to win? Any vote. How much of the vote do you think we need? Two people.
That we need to do what?
To win.
Meaning of the word win. Who are you?
If we have to win a vote and there's only two choices, how much of the vote do we need?
I don't understand that question. I'm going to be very honest. Please explain it again.
All right. And like every election, regardless of the election, regardless of who's running, there's only two people. How much of the vote would we need to win the election?
Let me help you out.
It was a series of questions. That's the first question.
I'm going to help you out because I still don't understand it, but I kind of got an idea. That's the best I got is an idea, which is the electoral process. And is it still black and white? Because everything is black and white, but are we still near there, the black and white issue?
No, there's a series of processes that go into the election nowadays, right?
Yeah, right.
We have a stable of candidates. We have to go through these stable of candidates. Then we have to go through a popular vote. Once we get through a popular vote, we get the electoral votes. The electoral votes go and vote the president in, right?
Right. Who's we, though? That's the question. Who's
the people? The people, right?
Right now, look, this is the one reason why I said it is because you need more than 50% to win a vote, right? If there's two people, you need more than 50% to make sure the other person doesn't get 50%. If we're talking about all of us, and when you say we, you say black people. When I say we, I'm talking about the people of the United States.
I didn't say black people. You can't tell me what I said.
You said black people.
I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question. What is we?
5 minutes ago, when you said it, you said we. That's when we started talking about black people. So I'm only saying that because there's only 15% of the population is black. At what point do we get 50% of the vote with only 15% of the people?
my best bet is to say I can maybe punt on this answer on question because I don't understand it. The only thing I understood you said is the word we. And we means as if I'm automatically aligned with a certain group. I'm not automatically aligned with a certain group. I'm a me when it comes to my vote. I'm a we when it comes to an American citizen.
About 10 minutes ago, when you said we, you said black people, and then you started talking about Jesse Jackson.
We were talking about, me, you, and him, and Justin were talking about a specific subject. Now, if we want to broaden it and say, the vote, what do we have to do in order to, that was the question. Who is the we?
When you started
black
talking
people
about
or people in general?
Okay.
I'm going to clear it up so you can remember. When you said we about 10 minutes ago and you started talking about the black people, at the end of that conversation, you started talking about Barack and Barack not doing enough. So obviously it leads
Didn't do anything. It's talking about enough.
Right.
Nothing.
So the point being is, how do we vote someone for us if we only have 15% of the vote?
Right. Now we're talking black people. So you can get specific. I'm not scared of the subject. I'm not sure if you are, but I'm not scared
10 minutes ago. You said we 10 minutes ago.
I'm not scared. How about this? So now
your words were we.
How do black people get an advantage in a voting system that obviously I believe has never let them take advantage or has given them advantage? It's given them a sense of toleration. And as the American economy grows, we grow. If the American economy fails, we fail the worst.
Absolutely.
These are facts.
Facts.
These are absolute facts. So the solution-based sharing would be don't vote at all. I didn't say they can't vote. Be my guest. The voting system was not set up for black people. Hillary Clinton, that's what a lot of people don't know. Hillary Clinton lost to Barack Obama in a Democratic primary.
Yes. By
only a few votes. And he got all the black votes. So if 3% of black people would have voted for Hillary instead of Barack, she would have been the Democratic nominee. It wasn't set up for you. Or us, excuse me.
Us or people of a small population.
If it was, it wouldn't have been that close. I can't act as if the Democratic primary is a black thing. No, it's not. That's the point I'm trying to raise overall. It's nothing to do with black people. We were the last on the totem pole on a consistent basis. And we fill in the blank, maybe. And maybe not. More not than maybe yes. The example is, for some reason, that's why the Democratic Party has not been able to deter some of our biggest inefficiencies, which is the criminal justice system and the things that still happen to us through the unions that you're talking about as far as taxation.
But has the Republican Party ever attempted?
They haven't disattempted. They've done the same thing.
When?
The status quo was in place. Status quo was in place.
Yes. But the Republican Party has never attempted.
Yes, they have. But they do it a different way. The Bush administration had compassionate conservatism. Churches benefited wholly and solely from that. Ask mommy, our auntie, or whatever you want to call it, my cousin, excuse me. Ask them if their churches didn't benefit with the food banks and things of that nature. That's when it started.
Well, I mean,
there was no discrimination. There was no discrimination when people needed welfare, whether Bush was president or Obama was president. If you needed it, you got it. If you qualified, because you didn't have anything.
But there were decreases.
That system is always in place, bro.
The system is always in place because it would be very hard to get rid of it. But it is possible to decrease it to the point where it becomes so inefficient.
It's not where your non-mind needs to stay. If our mind stays there, that's the advantage of the Democratic Party. And that's the difference with the Republican Party. Just don't keep your mind there. Don't keep the door open to give me in case I don't have. Keep the door open with, I'm going to get regardless. Because the opportunity is there based on the place I live.
I agree. I agree with the opportunity, and I agree with people not keeping their minds in a place of
so
needing.
If you agree, there shouldn't be a rebuttal. It's a blatant attack on something that doesn't really exist.
No,
what you're talking about is a clear, obvious racist message that's no longer accepted in America.
No, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I walk down the street or I drive to a certain area and I see people living in the streets. I see people living on the streets, and the views that I think are the ones that are potential of getting rid of all of the harm and all of the horrible things that I see in society. The people who run for office, they run democratically. They do not run as Republicans, because the Republicans tend to say to pull yourself up. It is very difficult for a person who's living on a street corner, who is homeless, who has no money, who has no food, who has no place to live, to pull themselves up. So in order for that thing to happen, in order for them to benefit, and in order for us to benefit as society and not have homeless people in the street, we have to invest. And I believe that that's one thing that every Republican, every business person can understand is investment. Investment. And investment comes in many different ways. It's not just marketing. It's not just buying goods. Sometimes you just have to put the money out to get it in return, to get that thing in return, that benefit in return. And the thing that we all want is a better United States of America. And who does not agree that a better United States of America would include less people who are strung out on drugs, less people on the street corners living homelessly? We would all benefit from those things. So that requires investment. And the only people who I see who are interested in doing that type of investment in people and that type of social investment happens to be Democrats, not Republicans. And I'm not speaking to Trump. I'm talking about Republicans as they've been coming in and out, because, like you said, he is something else in particular.
Well, thanks for your spiel. I mean, I just don't agree.
What don't you agree with? Tell me what you don't agree with. I want you to be honest, but tell me what you don't agree with.
What you said in a general way is that you've been sold by the Democratic Party, and I've been sold out by the same party. That's what I'm saying. Because I've given it time to pan out. And I see the same advocates for the poor who's rich. I don't see poor advocates who are poor or middle class. No. They don't get the ball field. They're not the starting pitcher. They're not playing center, point guard. No. Average middle class people. It's rich and rich only. Where you identify is a party in case you get screwed, like Oprah Winfrey, Jada Pinkett, and Will Smith.
Why you had to bring Will into this?
What's the example? I'm using example. The example is I didn't get a Grammy. Now it's time to play a certain card.
It was an Oscar.
You didn't get a Grammy, so you're upset? What about that damn $100 million you got in your damn account? But now it's time to play the race card. You could have played it when Amadou Diallo got shot 41 times.
Agreed.
You could have played it. You could have played it when Sean Bell got shot.
Yes.
You could have boycotted the whole damn system, and you never tried. I'm not having it. I'm tired of it. It's over. It's either what's in your wallet, Capital One stop. And it has nothing to do with political parties. It's only I'm a cry when I got racism, when racism hit me. It just depends on how loud if your tears are going to be wiped off.
But that's not what we do, Greg. That's not what we do, Greg. We're sitting here and we're crying for everybody when they get hit. And it didn't hit us. It didn't hit us. And we're trying to avoid it from hitting us.
No, you can't escape what I just said. Like I didn't escape what you asked. What you asked was basically which party is better because of the worst person. We've got the best of our best only using that same synopsis if they are discriminated against. If they can't be Ice Cube and get a basketball league. Now it's time to cry racist. Where are you? These are Democrats.
They're leaders.
They're
the neoliberals.
Barack Obama, you are what? President of the United States? They made you show your birth certificate? You had to explain that to your daughters who know history, who study history, who have white boyfriends right now? No. There is no allegiance to black people. There's allegiance to the American dollar.
So ultimately, what are you saying ultimately? What are you saying ultimately? Because
ultimately, if we want to do it from a black perspective,
okay,
it would be best if we abstain the vote. I didn't say never vote again, and put it on the market as a commodity, like just like lamb chops, just like beef, steak, chuck, just like cattle. We were once cattle.
True.
You know, so we need to sell our damn vote.
But don't
I guarantee you the problems you're talking about will only get solved if we tell you we're only going to vote this way if we get this thing. And be reasonable about it.
True.
Be reasonable.
True. But there also runs the risk that if we put our vote up, if we abstain.
The risk?
There's a risk. Of course there's a risk. There's a risk that there's one party who's already not looking for the black vote. Can we agree that the Republican Party is not looking for the black vote?
The Democrats are not looking for the black vote.
Yes, they
are. They can use it. It depends on where you're talking about the black vote. No, the federal is where they're looking for it. The state is where they're looking for it. Locally, they're not looking for it. That's the problem.
Okay, so we're separating the local politics from the federal politics.
It's the biggest separation. That's another issue. That's another meeting. Because I'm telling you, that's why it doesn't matter. It's set up that way. It's the Democratic primary was set up to where Hillary Clinton lost by not that much to Barack Obama, and he got all the black votes. Read between the lines, bro. That's the issue. Do the research on that, and then tell me I'm wrong. I am not wrong. She almost won it.
Saving those votes that year.
She almost won it. She almost won it with no black vote. She almost won it. The Democratic primary, the thing we hold high. The other issue is the party that loses has the most power. Filibusters, you name it. Ridiculous. So the other brother you was with, I'm not sure of his name. What's your name, sir?
Lewis.
Hey, Lewis. Yeah. What do we change? The system itself. The system itself, where you lost an election, but you control the narrative.
Well, I think that's earlier, how do we fix it? How do we hold it accountable? I don't think that abstaining is going to change much. It's not going to change.
The accountable is the voting booth. The accountable is the voting booth. If you lost, take it like a man, bro. Don't extort the system that beat you based on the voting booth. It's almost contradictory. It's like the blatant level of hypocrisy going on in this country in a lot of ways. But that's the most major way.
I mean, all three of us live in blue states. We wouldn't have changed the vote.
There's no such thing as blue states. If there was, Trump wouldn't be president.
Okay.
It was. You know what? Because the blue voted for him. Because they think alike.
Parts of the blue states. Of course. I mean,
the part that won, that's enough.
Our state voted Democratic, so I mean, I can't say that.
You got California, you got New York, and you got a place like Massachusetts, and those are blue states, and they go Democratic.
We had Governor Romney, remember him?
Oh, we do. But see, that's the point. That's the point. They have large urban areas.
Governor Pataki, remember Mayor Giuliani?
Yes, we do, because they all have large urban areas, but because they are states, they are still large. There's still other parts to it.
People vote alike if you scare them in a certain way.
Okay.
It throws down all that crap. It's white versus black, and it's man enough if you can admit it or not.
So how do we keep... But you're telling us to choose a different white team. If that's the case.
I'm not telling you to do that. I don't have the capacity to tell you
So you're telling me to choose money?
I'm telling you to choose logic, which is, if I can't trust nobody, I might as well trust the best thing for me.
Okay. I mean,
I can't disagree with that. I like that.
No, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that, because there are logical things in everything that you've said. I think where we differ is where it ultimately falls down to. No, because we differ
because you've been brainwashed to believe that something is, and what it is, it's not. Give me another opportunity to prove it, I will prove it. As I told you, Hillary Clinton got no black votes and was within 3 percentage points of beating Barack Obama in a Democratic primary. And it's all Democrats that voted.
All Democrats. That's how a Democratic Party primary goes. Yo, listen. You're right. Listen. You're right in that regard, and we agree.
How could it be that close How can we be that relevant as black people?
Would you let me answer that one for you? I'll answer it for you.
Couldn't have been that close.
You let me answer it for you? I'll answer it for you.
All right.
Okay. So you just now said that we have to get together and we should abstain the votes, right? What do you think white old Democrats did who didn't want to vote black and didn't want to vote female? They didn't vote. That's why it was so close. The women who were behind Hillary were, in essence, are the same amount of just black people voted.
Greg?
I don't know who did what, but I'll say it's logical what you just said.
It's the law of averages.
Right. I'm not so anti you, you know. I'm not.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not there. But I will say that a lot of people came out, and based on the numbers that came out, no. And based on the history of this country, and the racism in this country, and the blatant disrespect in this country that's been lobbied and levied towards black people, it would lead me to believe that a man that got every black vote and only won by 5 percentage points is suspicious. For a party that was allegedly for us, no. And now if he won by 15%, because the 15% we represent in the population, then so be it. We are not categorically included in nothing except the incarceration rate, which is another topic.
Definitely.
Listen, I think you've been fair. I think you've been fair as a person, as a businessman, as a person who also supports Trump. And these are great conversations for us to have because it's important.
I support common sense. I don't support just Trump.
I love that. You support common sense.
It's not. I support Trump. I support common sense, and what he brings to the table is the truth. Whether you call him a racist or not, he's honest. I'd rather deal with that than to deal with dishonest.
Listen,
the Democrat with the sheet over his head pisses me off way worse than Donald Trump.
You know what? Damn it. I can't say nothing wrong to that because I agree with that. And these are conversations that we got to continue to have. We're going to end this part of our political debate right here. Greg, we got to have you on again. Can we have you on again?
You can have me as many times as you'd like.
We got to have you on.
Your lead vocalist. If necessary.
We want to know what's going on the other side. Next up, we're going to talk about, listen, we have a segment called This Week in Racism.